Here are some objections to moral arguments for God. Welcome to Critical Thinking Skin, where we look at how you can think about any faith-challenging message and arrive at a biblical, logical conclusion yourself. I'm Patricia Engler, and today let's look at some arguments against the conclusion that objective moral standards come from an absolute moral lawgiver, God. One objection is called the Euthyphro dilemma, which asks, is an action moral because God commanded it, or does God command certain actions because they're moral? In the first case, moral standards would be arbitrary because God can make up whatever morals he wants. That's the same problem secular worldviews face by making human reasoning the authority, so societies can invent morals which value anything from killing children to committing genocides. In the second case, if God commands actions because they're moral, then morality is something external to God. So humans don't need God as the absolute basis for morals. Now, anytime an argument presents only two options like this, it's worth asking whether a third option may be possible. If so, you've detected an either-or fallacy. In this case, a third option is that moral standards are rooted in God's character. God is the definition for goodness and righteousness. So for humans made in God's image, moral actions are those which reflect the character of God in line with his commands for us. Now, I read a couple of objections to this response, so let's think about both. Objection number 1 states that God is not the source of goodness because goodness can exist apart from God. Skeptics may challenge Christians to show that goodness and morality would not exist or positively affect others in a universe without God. Now, aside from the issue of objectively defining good without God, this challenge assumes that we can imagine a universe without God, running into a whole nother philosophical and scientific question of whether anything could exist apart from God in the first place, except arguably to exist as an absence, the way darkness exists as the absence of light. Atheistic worldviews assume the universe and everything in it, considered good, does exist without God, although you can learn about inconsistencies with such worldviews in the linked resources. But the challenge to show that goodness would not exist without God is being posed to theists who believe the Bible. And the Bible teaches that the universe, despite being sin-cursed, is full of God's glory, so that his goodness is present everywhere in physical creation, like Romans 1:20 and Acts 14:17 teach. That's why biblically it's impossible to imagine a universe without God. Only hell itself is devoid of God and therefore of the good gifts God created, including water. So yes, biblically it is possible to demonstrate that good does not exist independently of God. Next, the second objection argues that God's character can't be the source of morals because God has asked people to do actions which would normally be considered immoral for people to commit on their own. Genesis 22, for instance, explains how God asked Abraham to sacrifice his son, Isaac. Now, like you can learn from the linked resources, God's request carried deep symbolism pointing to the gospel, where God offers his only son, Jesus, as the obedient sacrifice for us, like the ram that God later provided Abraham to take Isaac's place. So God's request to Abraham certainly wasn't arbitrary. Hebrews 11 even says that Abraham believed God would raise Isaac from the dead if necessary. And while it's clear that Abraham's actions were moral because they showed obedience to a special commandment from God, that doesn't mean the only way for actions to be moral is to involve obedience to special commandments. For example, Genesis 15:6 and Romans 4:3 say that another of Abraham's righteous deeds was believing God. But God didn't specifically command Abraham to believe him. Obedience to God is just one type of moral action. So if morality is rooted in God's character, obedience to God must be an aspect of God's character. And it is because God is a Trinity. Like you can see in a linked article, Jesus' obedience to God the Father is clear throughout the New Testament. So if morality is rooted in God's character, the real question becomes, has God contradicted his own character in commanding people to do certain things? We'll talk more about that next time. Meanwhile, for more on how to think critically about faith-challenging messages, you can access my other CT scan videos packed with tactics, tips, and tools that helped me as a Christian student at secular university. Thank you for watching. Hey, it's Patricia here. Just wanting to let you know that if you like these videos, a free, easy way to help Answers in Genesis Canada create more content and equip more people to defend their faith is to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, click the bell, and of course, share these resources. That lets the social media algorithms help these videos reach more people who can benefit from them, saving us advertising expenses while promoting biblical authority. Thank you so much.